Welcome to the research project for the course 665. This topic is about online credit debit payment systems. Alex and Gang will do the presentation for this project. This is agenda of this presentation. It includes the online payments, in-person purchase, and also the how credit card and debit card payment works, what's the technology used for the online payments for the credit card, debit card payment processing, and how do the cybersecurity for the payments and purchase. And at the end, we will talking about some of the future payment systems. Do you know what happens when you click the pay button for an online purchase? So mostly we think it's very simple because it only takes a few seconds to approve this purchase. But honestly, behind the scenes, it's much more complex than you think. They have many steps to do the authorization and authentications. From the picture on the right side, we will say that the customer is the person who placed the order on the website. Merchant, they received the orders from the customer. The payment gateway, they encrypt all the information they collected from the customer and then transfer to the acquirer. Acquirer will transfer those information it received from the payment gateway to the bank to ask the bank to confirm or deny the payment come back to the merchant. So for the online purchase, online payment processing, they have two main parts. So the first part is online payment gateway. The online payment gateway, they authorize the transfer of the funds between the buyer and the seller. It allows your e-commercial site to request money from the customer's bank. So it includes the security layer, authorized.net, and the e-way, which is used in Australia and the UK. The second one is online payment processor. Online payment processor is a processing. They use the collected information by the gateway and then contact the customer's bank and the merchant account. They will do the transactions between those two parts. From the 2014 to 2021, we will say each year the digital payments they increased each year. As in 2021, the in-store shopping is still the more popular one than the online shopping. So 81% are offline shopping, that's in-person shopping, and only 19% are online shopping. However, the digital payment market is expected to reach 7.6 trillion by 2024. The market is growing up bigger and bigger by the rate of the 13.7% from the 2021 to 2026. This is the interface for the inputting credit card and debit card information for the online payments. On the top one, that's a traditional method. It needs the customer to manually input all the information into the purchase system. It includes the card numbers, names on card, expiry date, and the security code. There is another way is called the scanning method. This is automatically extract the whole credit card or debit card information by taking a picture using the built-in camera in the cell phone. This method is implemented to the mobile payments. So you just need your camera on your cell phone to scan the picture of the credit card, and it will get all informations. For the traditional method, it's time consuming, and also the customer should be very carefully to input all the information, especially for the card number, which have the 16 digital numbers. It's very easy to make some mistake for the input numbers. The scanning method is it's much more accurate because it's automatically to get all information. The customer just needed to double check what's information, the extracted information is correct or not. So it's much convenience to use a scanning method. For the credit card, they have the CVV code or CVC code. So CVV code is a name for the card verification venue for the Visa card, and for the MasterCard, it's called the card verification code. But both codes they used to tell the method which used to encrypt the card information into their system. So this information includes the personal account number, card expiry date, and the service code. So that means when you input the CVV into the purchase one, then it will tell the system which method will be used to encrypt the whole information and transfer to the payment gateway. Using debit card online it's much simpler than it's simpler than the credit card because the fund was original the fund was directly transferred from your checking account from your bank. And the whole purchase is just check your balance on your account is enough for the purchase or not. However, if the cybersecurity for this purchase is not high enough, the customer should report the fraud within 2 days to say, oh, okay, my car was stolen, my card information was stolen by some criminal, and then they have some purchase not made by the customer himself. So, but for the first 2 days, the customer should be liable for the $50. But if the customer report this over 2 days, but still within 60 days, the customer will take the responsible for the up to $500 for the money loss. But if the customer did not report this event within 6 days, then the bank will not pay anything for this money loss. The customer will take 100% responsible for the whole loss. For the common cyber attack for online payments, first thing is the DOS or the DDoS. This is a hacker used to disable the service for the e-commerce site, so they will make this purchase function failed. Then the customer cannot visit this website. The second one is the social engineering and phishing. So those methods is aimed to the customer. They try to fool the customer and get all the credit card informations from the customer. The third one is happened when the customer uses a Wi-Fi network to make a purchase. The evil twins attack, man in the middle attack, and the packet slipping attack, they can allow the hacker to have the possibility to steal your credit card or debit card information if you use a Wi-Fi network. The fourth one is a major data breach for the company, for the merchant company, or for some big company like the phone company or Amazon or some other big companies. The hacker will hack into their system and steal a lot of the customers' sensitive informations. So for this part, we will talking something about the overviews effects about the credit card and the debit card. For the left side, we have two cards. One is a debit card labeled like the debit, The one on the bottom is a Citi credit card. So for those two cards, it looks like very similar. They use a very similar technology too, and then they include the card number and the custom card holder name and the expiry day and the bank informations. So for the credit card, they just borrow fund to the customer, and all the fund is transferred from the credit card company. And this credit card can refund some rewards or travel points or discounts to the customer who use this credit card to the payment. They can help customer to build the credit. And also the credit card company, they offer the fraud protection as well as protection against unauthorized purchase. However, for the credit card, they charge much high interest rate and fee for the merchant for each purchase. And for the debit card, it's much simpler. The money just directly transferred from the customer's bank account. They can help the customer to avoid accumulation of the debit. They charge very little or no fees for the purchase and no interest charge. However, this debit card, they did not offer the rewards or travel points or discounts, and also there is no help to build the credit for the customer. From this facts, we will see in 2026, still 50% of American families they use a debit card for the payments. Only 36% use a credit card and 9% paid use cash. From the debit card part, we will say only 4% is using for online purchase. For the online debit card, credit card purchase is only 4%. For the online purchase using debit card is 5%. So that's still small amount of purchase using online. For this one, there are some data to tell how many transactions happened in 2018. For debit card, it happened 86.4 billion transactions. For the credit card, it's 44.7 billion transactions. So the total value for the debit card is $3.1 billion, and the credit card is it's almost $4 billion. So for these numbers, we can do the simple calculation. It will tell us for the online transactions, they have the 100 or 108 million transactions per day. And that means they have the 1,257 transactions per second. It requires the credit card company or bank, they have a big database, they have a much high volume capability for the transactions and to deal and store the purchase. For the credit card payment, the first step is authorization. That means when the customer they put placed the order, then all information will be created by the merchant. The merchant transfer to the acquirer. Acquirer will transfer those information through the credit card network, go to the bank. And then the second step is authentication. After the bank got all the purchase information, then they will create the improved code to back to the acquirer and acquire back to the merchant. And the merchant will issue the sale slip to the customer to complete the sale. The last step is clearing and settlement. So after whole processing is cleared, and then the merchant will send a batch of the approved transaction back to acquirer. Acquirer will send all information back to to the bank, and the bank will send the final confirmation information to the customer, and then later the customer to confirm the purchase. And then after that, the whole online purchase is done. For the debit card online payment, it's much easier. The card holder, they just use the card for the payment, and then the request the bank the send all information to the customer's bank and checking the account balance. After that, the bank after the bank approved the purchase, they send the information to the merchant. The merchant will save the payment and approve the whole transactions. But the questions are why debit card payment method is much simpler than a credit card, because the credit card holder are not liable for the unauthorized purchase for the credit card, but the debit card holders, they may be liable for the unauthorized purchase if they do not report them within a certain time frame. So that's why the bank, they don't need to pay to a lot of attention on the security things, because the customer itself, they take the most responsible for the money loss if some hacker or some bad thing happened for the credit card online payments. So that's the first part from me. Now the Alex, he will talking about the second part of this presentation.